Welcome to The Debate. Businesses operating in Bangladesh, really from ambitious SMEs all the way to major multinational corporations, they all share a vital challenge: optimizing their human resources functions. And look, this isn't just about processing payroll. It's about ensuring rigorous compliance with local legislation and creating structures that, well, that actively drive organizational growth.
That's right. And the marketplace really offers two fundamentally different approaches to solving this problem: comprehensive managed HR services and, on the other hand, highly targeted HR consulting. So today we're confronting the core strategic tension. For long-term growth and organizational effectiveness in the local context, is the superior model a comprehensive, fully outsourced managed HR service? Or is it a targeted strategic HR consulting approach focused on building robust internal systems?
And I'll be arguing that the comprehensive managed HR solution is simply the most efficient and risk-mitigating pathway for sustainable scale.
And I will counter that the strategic, project-based HR consulting approach offers the true long-term structural advantage that's necessary for internal capacity building and ultimately enduring organizational strength.
I appreciate your focus on internal strength, I do, but let's center our conversation on immediate velocity, risk, and continuous efficiency. Comprehensive managed HR services, often structured as a professional employer organization or POE, or maybe an employer of record, an EOR, they provide the most streamlined pathway for businesses operating here. I mean, these models handle the entire administrative and compliance spectrum: payroll processing, benefits administration, tax filing, and critically, continuous government compliance assistance. This continuous function, it immediately reduces the need for large internal HR teams, and that achieves significant operational efficiency and cost savings. When a business scales, particularly across borders, having a managed partner ensures seamless integration and full, real-time compliance with complex provisions of the Bangladesh Labor Act of 2006. We're talking everything from defined working hours to safety standards. The strategic value is simple. The business gains instant advanced capability, allowing leadership to focus entirely on core strategy and market expansion.
Okay, that's a powerful argument for administrative convenience and operational lift. But I have to push back on the idea that external management inherently leads to long-term success if the internal foundation is, well, crumbling. While managed services offer relief, a business's sustainable strategic success is built upon targeted HR consulting services that focus on establishing and auditing strong, enduring internal structures.
Right.
See, HR consulting is fundamentally transformational. It's about helping companies strategically put up HR structures that are customized and compliant. Services like HR process audits, building compliant standard operating procedures, and implementing necessary policies are paramount. The value isn't just relieving administration, it's identifying and addressing the root causes of recurring issues. For example, ensuring every employment contract is legally sound, or that crucial policies such as those governing sexual harassment or grievance procedures are not just present, but structurally sound and embedded in the organization. This approach empowers the client's internal team with what we call post-transaction expertise, the knowledge and systems required to manage processes correctly long after the consultant has, completed the project.
Okay, let's turn immediately to where the stakes are highest then: compliance. You mentioned structural flaws, but I argue that managed HR is the ultimate compliance solution precisely because it provides constant oversight. I mean, it handles legal details across the entire employee lifecycle.
Okay.
Consider the complexity involved in offboarding. In Bangladesh, navigating redundancies or handling dismissals requires meticulous adherence to due process under the Labor Act. Failure to follow the prescribed notification and hearing structure, even if the underlying performance issue is valid, that's the common trigger for costly, unfair termination claims. Managed services ensure every step, every warning, every severance calculation is vetted by experts and compliant. Relying solely on a periodic audit simply doesn't cover the daily dynamic risk that accrues every single time a disciplinary action is taken or a contract is modified.
I'm not convinced that the simple act of continuous administration guarantees the validity of the structure it administers. I mean, compliance absolutely hinges on that foundational documentation and policy structure. If a company's employment contracts are fundamentally flawed, outsourcing the management of those contracts merely accelerates the legal risk, doesn't it?
Well,
Targeted consulting is necessary to proactively ensure the business adheres to crucial structural provisions of the Labor Act of 2006. Think of legal compliance guidance and risk management consultation. These involve thorough risk assessments and audits that uncover critical gaps, a lack of proper appointment letters, or deficient safety policies, which daily outsourcing might just ignore or even perpetuate. We don't just catch past mistakes. We rework the entire policy framework. We fix the policy. The managed service, if it's later implemented, runs the correct policy. That structural clarity is key to preventing noncompliance, not just reacting to it.
but relying solely on intermittent audits or project-based setup introduces unacceptable windows of exposure. Compliance isn't a fixed state, It's a dynamic, evolving ecosystem, especially for companies dealing with international standards or rapid scaling. That complexity demands continuous, dedicated expert support working in the background 24/7. When laws change or when you face immediate issues related to work permits or global mobility, managed services provide real-time legal adaptation. Project-based fixes are inherently static, leaving organizations vulnerable in the intervening months or even years between consulting engagements. Scalability demands embedded, dynamic expertise, not project dependence.
Okay, but if we want to discuss scalability, we have to pivot to strategic talent. No company can scale long-term without effective talent management, and that requires focused consulting. Daily administration doesn't tell you why your high-potential employees are leaving.
Right.
Strategic planning relies on workforce and data insights analysis. Consultants analyze trends in recruitment and retention, helping align HR strategies with long-term goals. Services like specialized talent acquisition go far beyond simple sourcing. They refine interview processes and design competency frameworks to ensure new hires align perfectly with organizational culture and future needs, leading to demonstrably better retention. This deep analysis and system refinement requires dedicated project focus, not just continuous maintenance of existing and potentially ineffective processes. We provide the diagnosis and the cure.
That's an interesting point regarding diagnosis, but I would argue that continuous management is where strategic retention is operationalized. Managed HR includes robust workforce management that supports every single stage of the employee lifecycle. Take performance management tracking or integrative learning and development support. These functions need daily consistency to be effective, not just a yearly policy framework. Furthermore, comprehensive benefits management is integral to attracting and retaining the best talent in a competitive market like Bangladesh. Tailoring comprehensive packages, whether it's private medical insurance, annual leave upgrades, or implementing performance-based bonuses, is a high-touch, continuous operational requirement. This strategic retention work is seamlessly handled as an integrated, continuous part of a managed HR service, ensuring that strategic policies are actually executed consistently, minimizing gaps in the employee experience.
Well, administration of benefits is a necessity, sure. Strategic talent retention relies most heavily on fostering a positive workplace environment through effective employee relations management. You can't outsource the health of your organizational culture.
I see your point.
This focus is better facilitated through a dedicated consulting approach that focuses on training managers to handle sensitive issues, mediating disputes fairly, and implementing clear, consistent grievance policies that genuinely improve workplace dynamics. We are talking about developing the organization's human capital internally. A consultant uses workforce beta to analyze and define why your retention rate is suffering, and then builds customized training modules for your internal managers. A managed service, while handling the paperwork efficiently, fundamentally lacks the mandate to transform leadership behavior or internal cultural dynamics.
But if we look at operational viability and cost efficiency, the argument for continuous managed HR becomes overwhelming, especially when we talk about technology. This isn't just about paperwork. It's about system integration.
Okay,
HR technology implementation, embedded within managed HR solutions, provides immediate, scalable efficiency. It automates recruitment workflows, onboarding, complex payroll processing, and employee self-service via an HR information system, an HRIS. This advanced capability, as it's sometimes called, is necessary for high efficiency and ensuring that compliance data is always accurate and centrally managed. It saves costs by drastically reducing administrative errors and limiting the need for vast, specialized internal HR staff. It's the practical, fast solution for scaling without inheriting massive infrastructure overhead.
I concede automation is essential for scaling, but technology implementation, particularly of a new human resources management system, or HRMS, is fraught with risk if the process architecture isn't defined first. That initial expert setup and change management is purely a consulting deliverable.
But firms specializing in consulting, such as, Payroll to Bangladesh, offer dedicated HR technology implementation services specifically to audit and redefine processes before the system is installed. Without that initial structural clarity, ensuring the technology architecture perfectly aligns with the unique legal, cultural, and operational needs of the business, you risk automating inefficiency. Or worse, creating a vendor lock-in scenario where your business processes become dictated by the software's rigidity. The priority must be defining the optimized processes first through consulting, and only then automating them for scale.
I have to challenge that sequencing. The synchronization offered by a comprehensive managed service means the technology stack and the service expertise are integrated and compliance tested from day one. You don't have the risk of a consultant setting up a system that is later mismanaged by an untrained internal team, nor do you face the integration friction between a technology vendor and a separate compliance service. The managed provider takes full ownership of the accuracy and compliance of the integrated system. So businesses, especially those seeking continuous risk mitigation and guaranteed compliance accuracy while scaling in Bangladesh, they benefit profoundly from the integrated expertise and continuous centralized support provided by a fully managed HR partner. It allows them to grow confidently, knowing the back office risk is proactively contained.
While that integrated ownership provides crucial administrative relief and operational scalability, I agree, true long-term organizational stability and strategic adaptability come from foundational HR consulting. This approach brings in surgical expertise to audit, build, and optimize the crucial internal systems, the policies, the training programs, the management structures that define the future health of the organization. This foundational work really empowers the organization's internal resources and avoids creating a dependency on an external provider for just day-to-day administrative maintenance.
It is clear that both models offer tremendous and distinct value streams to businesses operating in Bangladesh. The choice really hinges on prioritizing either continuous execution and risk control or that foundational structural transformation.
Indeed. The optimal strategy often depends entirely on the business's current maturity and complexity. Whether the immediate high-priority need is comprehensive, continuous coverage and velocity, or a fundamental structural setup and internal capacity development. By offering both comprehensive HR outsourcing and strategic HR consulting services, expert firms acknowledge the critical value of considering multiple perspectives in defining a truly successful and resilient HR